rule number 7, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient.
Yeah, well, that meaning is what you have to buttress yourself against the tragedy of life. It's like engagement. We're having an engaging conversation. You know, we'll walk away from this, and hopefully the people who are watching, they'll walk away and they'll think that was worthwhile. It's like, okay, think about what that means. It means that despite the fact that you're a fragile, damaged, mortal creature, you found something to do that announced itself as worthwhile. That's meaning. It's an instinct. Like it's not, it's a deep, deep instinct. It's maybe the deepest instinct. It's like a form of vision, except it's not like an embodied sense. It's not a specified sense. Meaning tells you when you're in the right place. And the right place is between chaos and order. And those are real places. Your hemispheres, like your right hemisphere is roughly evolved, let's say, to deal with things you don't understand. That's chaos. And your left is there to deal with things you do understand. And you can't just stay with the things you do understand because you already understand them. And you can't just stay with what you don't understand because then you're lost.
Yeah.
Well, you need to be in the middle of those two. And you can tell when you're in the middle because everything lines up and you feel engaged and that what you're doing is meaningful. It's like, that's what you pursue. Expedience is you do the thing that gets you off the hook the fastest right now. Well, you play that game across time, it doesn't work. It sends you down because you're sacrificing the future for the present. Meaning doesn't do that. Meaning says, I'm here where I should be. And you can't tell why, it's just that everything is right. And you get this physiological sense. Right place, right time, right conversation, you know? And that's usually a conversation where you're both trying to expand the way that you look at the world. Well, so you follow this meaningful path. That's your buttress against the tragedy that produces resentment and malevolence. His meaning is the antidote to that. And that's the fundamental religious truth. And it's really true. That's the thing that's so... Life is suffering. That's true. There's malevolence. That's true. Meaning is the antidote to that. Yes. And it's not some kind of fragile epiphenomena. It's the deepest thing. So people need to know that. It's so important to know that.
And there's a feeling associated with it too, right? A physiological feeling. Because as you're saying that, I feel that. I mean, I'm sort of lucky as an interviewer. Sometimes I interview people and I don't get that. But I find in the best interviews that I do, and even in portions that we've done here, when I really am in it with somebody and I can see that they know what they're talking about and they believe what they're talking about and all that, I feel sort of differently. I actually feel a little bit differently, even just looking at you, not this specific second, but there are moments where it's almost like, it's not blurry or something, but like colors are a little heightened.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can actually feel something powerful. And it's interesting because for me, the only reason I do this show is because I wanted something like this to be, and I didn't see it. You know, like I was like, where are people having meaningful conversations? Where are people expounding on ideas and all that? I started doing it, and now people come up to me and say, man, what you're doing has meaning to me.
Right.
So that's a pretty powerful thing right there.
Yeah, well, and people say, well, meaning isn't real. It's like, no, that's wrong. It's actually the most real thing. It might even be more real than suffering and evil. It's possible. And like, I think about this technically, you know, this isn't a metaphysical assumption that I'm making. And you do feel it. You feel it in your body. It's not just a mental thing. It's not an idea. It's a place. It's a place. Because we're in time and space, right? And a place is a place, you know, 3 dimensions of space, but it's also a time. And when the place and the time are set up properly, you're in the right place. And your brain is telling you that. Your being is telling you that. Yeah, you got it right. Right? You know, it's going to fall apart because you're not going to be there all the time.
Right. You forget that pretty quick often, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's just part of life.
Yeah, well, you say, you know, you go see a great movie. It's like, hey, you're in the right place at the right time, and you're engaged. You're completely engaged in it. It's because there's no other way to put it. You're in the right place at the right time, and the meaning is the signal of that. And so the purpose of profound religious contemplation, in some sense, in the deepest sense, profound philosophical contemplation, is to learn how to be in the right place at the right time all the time. Now, you can't, because you're not perfect, but you can be there a lot more than you are, and you can actually practice it. You practice it by paying attention. You watch yourself during the day like you don't know who you are, eh? Or what you're doing. And you notice, oh yeah, right there, I was listening to that piece of music, or I was having that conversation, or I was doing this piece of work. Then I was there for like 10 minutes. Okay, why? I was doing something right. I don't know what it is. I wasn't doing something wrong. And so I got this little illuminated moment. It's like, okay, I need to figure out how to be there more often. So there's this line from the Gospel of Thomas, which was discovered in like 1957. And it says, the kingdom of God is spread out before the eyes of men, but men do not see it. That's basically it. And that's kind of what it's referring to. It's like there are times when you're in the right place at the right time, and then you're where you should be. And you don't notice that. You don't say, oh, look, wow, there's something about this is right. I got to figure out how to do this more.
Right, because that sucks you out of it immediately, even if you could do that, right?
Right, well, that's also partly why it's hard. And you're not really trained to notice that, because it isn't something we ever talk about. It's like, you're in the right place at the right time. Okay, why? What did I do right? What did I do? I need to do more of that. So maybe it's only half an hour a week when you first start noticing. And then maybe with 3 months of practice, you can get it up to like an hour a day. And then maybe you can get it up to 4 hours a day. And God only knows where you could get it if you keep practicing, You can be there. We don't know what the upper limit of that is.
Yeah.
If you're in a crowd where the music is really kicking in, the band is, the band, now and then you get a band and they're on the same wavelength. It's just something else. And you can feel it snap in. So a concert will go from good to great. And all of the audience is participating as well, right? They're all moving to the same rhythm. And you get this intense feeling that everything is lined up and is in the right place. It's like, yes, yes. That's why people go to concerts, because they get the chance to have that happen. And it's sort of like this, it's this vision of how life could be. And then, you go home and things fragment again, but at least for a minute, everything came into alignment harmoniously. And that's what you're trying to do, is to get every level of being harmoniously lined up, like music, like a symphony.
Yeah.
That's why people like symphonies, because everything lines up, and then you're there, So that's what you want to aim at.
Yeah, if I can take it to a basketball metaphor, I mean, this is when players talk about being in the zone, when you're you're just throwing it up and you're not even thinking, and it's going in and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And often when they talk about it after, that they won't even realize that, wow, that was a 7-minute stretch. They think of it as a 30-second little thing.
That's right, time goes away. Yes, well, that's the Tao that the Taoists talk about. That's the zone. That's the line between chaos and order. And to be there is to be in the right place. That's why people watch sports. Like, part of it's the competition and the victory. And that's all fine. But the serious thing is those moments when you're in the zone with the players, because they're acting out being in the zone, and everyone loves that. In the Quidditch game in Harry Potter, there's 2 games going on at the same time. There's the ordinary game, which is just a game, and there's the Seeker game. And the Seeker is going after this golden thing that flickers in front of them. And if they get that thing, then they win, and the team wins. Well, she got it exactly right. That little thing, the snitch that everyone is chasing, is actually an ancient alchemical symbol for the union of chaos and order. Huh. I don't know how in the world she figured that out. It's called the round chaos. It's unbelievably obscure. If you look it up on Google, I think the only reference to the round chaos is from my website. I learned it from reading Jung. I don't know how she figured it out.
Wow.
But so the seeker is seeking this thing that glimmers in front of him, right? It moves everywhere, right? That's Mercury, the winged messenger of the gods, right? And so you're chasing that, and now and then you get it, and everyone wins. So yeah, that's meaning, yes.
That is meaning.